It's the opportunity to make something that is refined and polished, but at the same time is meant to be a callback to this desert world where, for all the technology they have, the most important and sacred weapon is this kind of rough tooth that's been ground into a blade. The Crysknife, as it's described by Frank Herbert, is like a double-edged short sword or short knife that's used for fighting. It's ground from the sandworm's tooth, and so it has this super sharp but kind of brittle blade. What I wanted to do was make it out of modern Damascus and make it as shimmery and bright and interesting and deep as possible. I've been into knives and swords ever since I can remember, since being little. I usually try to research as much as I can about the object, its use, where it comes from, what materials are used, and try to reverse engineer how it was actually made. I'm basically taking the same ethos that drives the rest of my work and trying to create something that never existed on this planet. I want it to feel like it could actually be an organic thing that was taken from, an animal and sharpened and shaped into an object. Modern steel is really good. You don't have to fold it and layer it and make these patterns in it, but it's a really beautiful aesthetic choice that gives this thing a little more depth and makes it shimmer the way the ones in the book are meant to. Once I have a piece that's actually ready to become a knife, I have to harden it. Finishing the blade usually looks like polishing all of the scratches out of it and then etching it in the acid. The ferric chloride brings out all the pattern. So all of the work that was put in over hours and hours and hours to make this pattern exist within the steel is finally able to be revealed. Theoretically, the blade and the handle outside of the metal piece that covers it are supposed to be one piece. So making it look like it kind of flows together and then has this handle on it so that a person can grip it really kind of changes the aesthetic of the piece and changes the way that I had to think about it. So when the wood and bronze go together, there's no jiggle, there's no movement, they're just solid. Like there's only one place they can go, and that's together. Swords were used for a pretty brutal purpose, but as objects of art, they were also really elevated. They were beautiful, they were well-made, and so I want to make things that are beautiful, well-made, functional, but don't have to serve the same purpose that they did back then. I want to make something that somebody can enjoy and look at and eventually pass on to someone that they care about. I want to make a legacy of objects that transcends time. And eventually these pieces are going to turn back into dust, and that dust is going to be able to be turned back into metal, and the cycle is going to go over and over. And the idea that I can make something that'll be here, maybe not forever, but for a really long time and be enjoyed by people that I'll never know the names of is really exciting to me.